Good evening and welcome to SVG-TV News.
Good evening, welcome to SVG-TV News and Sports for Wednesday, January 7th. I'm Jimmy Prince with the details. Leader of the Democratic Republican Party, the DRP, Anisha Batiste, is making a plea ahead of the general elections for a change in both the political culture and the climate in the country. In an interview with SVG-TV News earlier today, Batiste stated that the political practice in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is not one of openness and it is time for a change.
Find is that we need a new political culture. We need a new political practice where there's more openness and more information disseminated. Not just a few months or a few weeks before the election, you go underground and you give away a few goodies and you fix a few roads, etc. And then you expect people to vote for you on that basis. Or even if you're in opposition, you run underground only close to election time asking people for votes.
But he's further stated that transparency and the dissemination of information to the public should always be at the forefront throughout a leader's tenureship.
I would love to see more of a pre-election kind of activity in the constituencies where during the 5-year term, there's more involvement of the representatives in his or her constituency, talking to the people, being open with them, and not just waiting until a few months before the election to start showing interest. We need to cut that out. That political culture needs to change because people need representation not only close to elections or just when you want the votes, but all the years through.
Meanwhile, the leader of the DRP is asking for a political debate to be held prior to this country's elections, but he's intimated that a public debate offers the citizens an opportunity to hear the varying ideas of each leader.
As the leader of the DRP, I am open and available for public debates that are properly organized so that the people of our country can really sit down and judge at close proximity what we are offering, what are the differences, they can contrast. I think as grown men and women, we should be able to sit maturely and make public presentation of our policies, our positions, and to be scrutinized by the various questions that are posed to us so that people can hear. So at least I would love to see at least 3 public debates among the political leaders of the political parties of St. Vincent and the Grenadines before the next general elections.
As the upcoming general elections are on the minds of most people, Anisha Batiste says that preparations are going well and that her team are on the right path for the general elections, which can be called at any time.
We are on our way to building our team, and when the time is right, we would announce fully to the public our entire team. It is our desire to have a full team of 15 candidates, and we are currently building that team. Some of us are already on the ground in the constituencies working.
And as the DRP conducts its candidacy search, Batiste indicated that the norm where men are the primary choices will not be followed. She further states that the focus of our party is to gather a mixture of persons who embody what the party stands for.
Men and women, younger persons, elder persons or older persons, because we believe that it is important for our team as far as is possible to reflect the dynamics of our society. We don't only have men, we don't only have women, we don't only have older persons, we don't only have younger persons, we have a mix. We are not trying to stick in that tradition of only men or even for that matter only women. We want people who can do the job. We want experts, we want the brightest and the best. Persons who are practical, persons who are grassroots, persons who are on the ground, who know their communities, who love people, and who will work hard for the service of all people, not just those who support the DRP, but all of the people in your constituency, all of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
In other news, government has denied a statement by the United States Department of Treasury that a former Iranian national whose activities are being closely monitored had acquired Vincentian citizenship and a passport. Prime Minister Dr. Al Gonzalez made a statement today at Cabinet Room. Prime Minister Gonzalez says the citizenship and the passport records in this country reveal that the allegations are incorrect.
He is also not a holder of a passport of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The alleged date of birth of this person in the U.S. Department of Treasury Bulletin, Hussein Zaidi, is the 11th of September 1965. This date of birth does not correspond to any of the dates of birth of the 4 Iranian-born citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines wishes to make it clear that it does not and cannot discriminate against any person in relation to the grant or withholding of citizenship of St. Vincent and the Grenadines on the basis of nationality or place of origin. The universally acknowledged qualifications for citizenship are present in our law, and they are laid out in the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Citizenship Act, Chapter 117 of the Laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Revised Edition 2009.
The Prime Minister noted that unlike St. Kitts and Nevis and other countries, this country does not grant economic citizenship.
The former administration in our country instituted an honorary citizenship program, an economic citizenship program which went by the name of honorary citizenship. As everyone knows, very early in the life of our administration, the law in relation to this program was repealed, and the program of honorary citizenship or economic citizenship was peremptorily discontinued.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister says he has advised the Foreign Minister to inform the U.S. State and the Treasury Departments of the facts.
I want to urge always that we avoid hysteria on matters like these. It takes up a lot of unnecessary time. And what happens often is that this hysteria is generated out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and people who are connected to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, either by some kind of desire to sensationalize something, which they don't even know whether it is factual or not. You may see something in a bulletin. Well, what do? The U.S. Treasury Department is not the holder of the records of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in relation to citizenship and passports.
He added that the records at the Citizenship and the Residency Department of the Office of the Prime Minister show that between 1997 and 2015, 4 Iranians by birth were granted citizenship of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The one in 1997, as I say, his father, people would remember him, a Bangladeshi gentleman. And the persons who supported his application for citizenship, he and his wife's application, and his 10-year-old son got citizenship too. So James signed off on those. The 2 persons, the 2 esteemed medical practitioners who signed as references. In fact, this youngster was not the only one, the only child who got citizenship when their parents got. There was another one, but he wasn't born in Iran, he was born in India, because professionals move about. And as I say, that 10-year-old who got citizenship in 1997 is now a medical doctor.
Meanwhile, Minister Cecil Mackey stated that enhancing SVG's tourism product is not solely the responsibility of the government and the Ministry of Tourism, as all citizens of the country must do their part.
November, Tourism Month, we use as the theme for that month, tourism is everyone's business. Live it, love it, embrace it. And that's our way of saying to all Vincentians that this is not a government thing alone. This is about all Vincentians pooling their resources and their energies and their thinkings into making the tourism product, which is the #1 productive sector in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we're saying to Vincentians, embrace this and let us utilize it for the benefit of all Vincentians, home and abroad. Yeah, and while we do that, we're also saying to the visitor, help us to promote the destination.
Still ahead, the Garifuna Heritage Foundation preparing to host a summit. More stories on the local scene when we come back. Welcome back. The Garifuna Heritage Foundation, in its efforts to further educate the public on aspects of the Garifuna culture, plans to host a summit here soon. This initiative came from the recent declaration by the United Nations marking the period of 2015 to 2024 as the UN's International Decade for People of African Descent. The Garifuna Heritage Foundation plans to use this summit, slated for March of this year, to explore the African aspects within the Garifuna culture in this country. Speaking at a recent press conference, Rep of the local Garifuna Heritage Foundation, David Williams, says it is hoped that this conference will strengthen the International Garifuna Research Center. He stated that the center is still in the planning stages. However, he hopes that the center will provide all Vincentians with the proper information concerning both the Garifuna people and their culture.
The conference, we hope, will go towards strengthening the content of the International Garifuna Research Center. That is something that is very close to the Garifuna Heritage Foundation. We have been receiving materials on a regular basis. A physical space is not there for us to establish this center yet, but pretty soon we are pursuing the idea of making it or beginning the process of operating the center on an online kind of basis, and we hope that very soon we will be able to establish the center in a physical space where people could more easily access information when they need to, particularly our students.
Williams added that the main objective of the conference will be to allow Vincentians to learn more about Garifuna life.
Now, knowing where we are in this country as far as our knowledge of Garifuna is concerned, we at the Garifuna Heritage Foundation always try to grasp opportunities when they present themselves to have our young people particular and the people in our communities get the opportunity to interact with people who are living this Garifuna culture that we know was born right here in this country.
Additional customer service training is planned for the workforce at the various recreational sites here. According to the Director of National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority, Andrew Wilson, this is part of the organization's aim to deliver a quality experience to visitors to the various sites. Wilson also mentioned that there would be sign improvement at the 14 leisure locations throughout the country.
We would have conducted a visitor questionnaire in 2014. We interviewed just over 370 visitors to our sites, and then just gave us a good feedback as to what they are expecting, what they think of the site, what they regard as some of the positive things that we need to continue doing, and one of the areas that they think we would like to see improvement on. So we recognize in terms of trying to improve on the quality of the visitor experience of the visitor survey, that services is an area that we have to improve upon really. So we'll try to see how much we can improve on these services. One of the things that we want to do is to improve on our interpretation facilities at the sites. There are several sites such as Black Point, Vermont, Liu, that has interpretation centers. So we're trying to actually improve upon these, the information, the historical information that one will get, the background information on the site. So we're trying to actually improve on in this particular area in 2015.
Some news from the courts now. 21-year-old Alfonso Kidd has been ordered to stand the trial at the next practical sitting of the criminal assizes on a charge of attempted robbery upon a prison officer of Diamond in October. The order was given by Chief Magistrate Rayshon Brown Matthias at the conclusion on a preliminary inquiry. Reports are that on the date in question, Kidd was a passenger in the bus that was traveling from Caliacor to Kingstown, and on reaching Murray's Road bus stop, Kidd asked the driver to stop, and upon his alighting the vehicle, pointed a gun at the driver and demanded that he handed over the money.